Tableau customers, they use Alteryx for data preparation, and while it made sense 10 years ago, things have changed, and nowadays you have a much better, my opinion, of course, and I'm biased, of course, but hear me out. There are good points to consider EasyMorph as a solid alternative to Alteryx, and it's not just pricing. It's not just pricing. Well, first of all, let's talk a bit about Alteryx. Alteryx is based on it uses the traditional ETL concept, where you design workflows by connecting tools with lines, and it's a very typical workflow representation that is quite common in almost all ETL applications. It's called DAG, Directed Acyclic Graph. So what's wrong with this? Well, this type of workflow representation was designed in the 90s. It was the original ETL workflow representation, and it was designed in the 90s. And the problem the people had in the 90s, and software designers back then, is that computers had very little memory. 30 years ago, a decent server had 16 to 32 megabytes of memory. And when you have that little memory, you don't have any other choice but process your data chunk by chunk or batch by batch, like loading 1,000 rows, processing it, collecting the output, loading another 1,000 rows, processing it, and appending to the output. So, and this is how ETL tools, including Alteryx, used to work. This approach has poor data visibility, because if you click a tool in Alteryx, it only shows 1 megabyte of data. 1 megabyte. So nowadays we have gigabytes of data of RAM on an average laptop, but Alteryx still shows you a very small subset of data at every tool. And if you need to see the full output of some tool, then you need to connect the browse tool after a tool you're looking to explore, and then rerun your workflow from the beginning. Oof, that's not convenient. That's cumbersome. That's very outdated. In EasyMorph, you click a step and you see the full output immediately. No need to connect anything. No need to rerun anything. So it's simply there the moment you change it. And also, Alteryx has other architectural deficiencies, such as one strict data type per column. You can define a column, you must define a data type for each column. And God forbid if you declare the text type and it has, let's say, 100 characters, and your value for some reason has 150 characters. It will be silently cut, and it's a data error that is introduced by the tool, which I believe is ridiculous, and it can catch you unguarded. So again, not good. And finally, EasyMorph is very overpriced. It made sense when maybe 10, 15 years ago, when there was no alternative like EasyMorph. But nowadays, you have EasyMorph, more modern, more visual, very capable application that costs 5 times less than Alteryx, literally 5 times less than Alteryx. And it's not because it's inferior, it's just because EasyMorph is more reasonably priced, which reflects better the reality. So overall, Alteryx is it's not a bad tool, it's a good tool, it's capable, but 10 years ago, it made sense using Alteryx for Tableau. Nowadays, I would recommend everyone consider switching from Alteryx to EasyMorph. Book a demo with us, book a call with us to discuss it, because it will allow you to get things done faster, easier, and you will save a lot on licensing costs, up to 75-80% on licensing costs. Well, that's not a pocket change. Well, that can be significant, especially if you look for multiple years ahead.